Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us, particularly, and thank you to my colleagues in government who are here, and also members of the press for helping us get this important information out and keep the community informed. So with that, I want to get started by thanking President Matos for joining me, and we're also joined by Pastor Howard Jenkins. Thank you very much. You'll be hearing from each of them in just a moment. And I also know that we're joined by Councilman Pedro Espinal, so it's great to have you here. So here we are, we're towards the end of March 2021. And when we first began this pandemic, if you're anything like me, when you started hearing on TV that this pandemic might last several months, perhaps through that summer, you kind of scratch your head and wondered, how are we going to get through this? But here we are, it's been a year later, and it's been very, very difficult, but we've managed. And we're here today, 1 year after this pandemic started, with a message of hope. And that's that the vaccines are not only here, but they're increasing in supply. And we hope to get as many shots in the arms as quickly as possible so that we can return back to normal very soon. You know, I'm cautiously optimistic that if everyone does their part and we continue to vaccinate at the rate that we're going and see an increase in vaccines coming to the state, that by the middle to the end of the summer, we can return to a way of life that is very close to the normal that we had before, with perhaps some increased improvements. However, but to do that, we still need everyone to continue to abide by all of the restrictions and all of the guidelines. Please wear your masks. It's the number one and most important thing you can do. Maintain social distancing and wash your hands as often as possible. So there is, we can see the finish line, which is really exciting, but at the same time, we're not fully out of the woods yet. You know, the sooner we can get everyone vaccinated will be the sooner that we can return back to normal. So it is with that, and also in conjunction with the state's high density community, or HDC strategy, that we are here to announce the expansion of eligibility for folks in designated zones in the city of Providence to receive the vaccine. Up until now, it's been much more restricted and limited, but beginning today, we are going to begin as a city to receive and to give appointments for anyone 18 plus who lives in an HDC community. So anyone who is 18 plus who lives in the zip codes 02904, 02905, 07, 8, and 9 now qualifies for the vaccine. The reason why we're doing this is really twofold. As we've seen the devastation that this vaccine has wreaked on our entire community, we've seen that it hasn't impacted us all equally. In fact, these zip codes have been the ones most impacted. If you look at the DOH statistics on this, the hospitalization rate is actually higher for folks 25 and over in these HDC zones than it is for people 60 plus in non-HDC zones. So we know that it's more deeply impacted, that the impact is more deeply felt in these neighborhoods. And so as part of the state's HDC plan, we are focused on them to prioritize them for vaccine distribution. This is the moment where no one is safe until everyone is safe, and we need to make sure that we get the vaccines out to the places that are most being impacted. And that's exactly what's happening here today. So to anyone 18 plus who lives in these zip codes, please, you can either call my office at 311, or you can go online at vaccinatepvd.com to register and for more information. You know, we're asking the entire public's help here. Please help us get the word out. Let your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones, let everyone know that this is now available to them, and that they should sign up as quickly as possible. Now, two other points before I hand it over. And the first is that every time that we've expanded eligibility, we get a rush of phone calls and a rush of people going to our website. And we expect that the same thing is going to happen this time. To everyone out there, we cannot guarantee that you will indeed be able to get through and get an appointment right away. I want you to know that we are working on that, and we're going to continue to advocate at the state for more and more vaccines to come to Providence to address our particular needs, especially in these HDC communities where we believe the greatest need and greatest demand is going to lie, especially now that we've expanded eligibility. So we will do our part to continue to advocate, and I ask for everyone's patience. If you can't get through quickly, or if you can't get through on the first try, please keep trying. Please stay up to date with the latest information that we'll be communicating, and we will make it so that everyone will eventually get the vaccine. And believe me, my entire team, the city council, and our partners in the community, we're doing everything we can to make sure that the vaccine supply exists so that you can get vaccinated. And now finally, and to folks who live in the 02906 zip code in Providence, you'll know that that is the only zip code in Providence that's not included as an HDC zone. You might have questions as to why you're not included. Well, first of all, we have received authorization from the State Department of Health to expand eligibility only in the HDC zones. 02906 is not one of those zones, and so we do not have authorization to expand there yet. However, we will continue advocating so that this vaccine is available to everyone throughout the city and with time throughout the state, regardless of what your age is. The state's HDC strategy focuses as much resources and attention on the places that have been the hardest hit, and that is these exact zip codes that I just mentioned. So once again, to recap, for anyone out there who is 18 plus and lives in these zip codes, 02904, 7, 8, and 9, you now qualify. You are eligible for the vaccine here in Providence. You can go to vaccinatepvd.com. You can call my office at 311, or you can call one of our several neighborhood partners and neighborhood providers and sign up for an appointment today so you can get your vaccine. I know it's been an incredibly difficult year, but the end is in sight. We just need everyone to hang in there for just a couple of more months as this operation to vaccinate kicks into full gear, and we have more vaccines coming. So thank you everybody for doing your part, and together we're not just going to overcome this, but we're going to build a better world on the other side of this. So thank you so much, everyone.